11:18 p.m. West, 129th Street, Harlem. The money moves first. Quiet, folded, $50,000 pass through hands that don't shake. Frank Lucas pays for a body, but he pays extra for fear, the kind that lingers. 7 men come up from the south. White hoods packed tight, boots scrubbed clean. One of them breathes heavy through his nose like he's already excited. Another keeps touching the rope in his coat pocket, checking it's still there. 7-1. They choose a narrow tenement passage that feeds into the woods beyond the tracks. No lights past the last building. No witnesses who would speak, the kind of place where a scream gets lost and nobody asks why. Everyone expects the same ending, a rope, a body swinging. Harlem reminded where the line is. But here's the thing, Bumpy Johnson knows the price before the men arrive. He knows who took it. He knows why Frank didn't send his own people. Hate works cleaner when you outsource it. The men step in together. Boots crunch gravel. One laughs under his breath. Minutes later, the sound changes. A branch snaps. A shout cuts off. Someone runs hard, tripping over roots, gasping like his lungs are tearing. Only one man makes it back to the road. He's bleeding. Hood gone. Hands shaking so bad he drops the envelope appearance one into the dirt. This is the story of the night Bumpy Johnson became untouchable. And Harlem hasn't even heard the worst part yet. Write 2 and 3. Chapter 2. The Rot Beneath. Harlem feels it before anyone explains it. A patrol car rolls past the block and doesn't slow. A white face lingers too long at a corner and no one challenges it. A shop owner closes early and says it's for inventory. It isn't. Jaw tightens. But here's the thing, hate doesn't move alone. It moves with permission. A numbers runner gets stopped and searched for nothing. Hands linger where they shouldn't. He's let go without apology. Down the street, a drunk white man shouts something ugly and no one pulls him aside. The sound just hangs there. Bumpy walks through it without escort, hat low, pace even. He watches who looks away and who doesn't. Thumb taps twice against his coat seam. A call comes in from a man who usually doesn't call at night. They're passing through, the voice says. Nobody's stopping them. Bumpy listens, says nothing. When the line goes dead, he doesn't move right away. That's the rot. Not the rope, not the money. The space being cleared for it. And that's the mistake. Frank thinks the damage ends with one body. Bumpy turns back toward the tracks, already measuring how far the rot spreads before it hits something solid. Bumpy doesn't mistake this for business. Business has rules. This doesn't. He sits alone in a back room with one bulb burning steady. No smoke, no music, just a chair and a table scarred from old arguments. He rests his hands flat and waits until his breathing slows. Jaw sets. What they didn't know, Bumpy has seen this before. Different state, different trees, same intention. He doesn't plan revenge. He plans containment. He sends men out quiet, not to hunt but to listen, to watch roads, to count who passes and who waves them through. Names come back attached to badges and uniforms. He files them away without comment. The woods beyond the tracks get cleared. Not loud, not rushed. Paths blocked where they narrow. Branches cut where they snap under weight. One entrance left open, one way out. Bumpy walks the edge once, tests the ground with his shoe, notes where the earth gives, where it doesn't. Thumb taps twice. And that's the mistake. Everyone thinks the woods belong to no one. Bumpy steps back into the street and blends in, already finished with the setup. The men coming north think they're walking into darkness. They don't know it's been arranged. They don't ride together. 2 come by truck, 3 by train, 2 more in a borrowed car with the plates bent just enough. They meet outside the city, not Harlem, not yet. Hoods stay folded, faces stay open. But here's the thing, money didn't bring them this far. Permission did. One man talks too much, says this will be easy, says the police already looked the other way once tonight. Another laughs and spits into the dirt. The specialist checks his rope again, slower this time. He doesn't smile. They're told where to go, past the tracks, into the trees, a place that's supposed to be empty, a place no one claims. That's the lie they believe. They don't know the paths were narrowed hours ago. They don't know the ground was tested. They don't know only one exit still works the way it used to. A flashlight clicks on and off. Once. Twice. Move, someone says. They step into the woods like they own them. and the dark closes in behind them. 12:41 a.m., beyond the tracks. The woods swallow sound fast, leaves damp, air heavy. A branch snaps under a boot, and everyone freezes. No one laughs now. But here's the thing, confidence dies first. They move in a loose line, spacing off, trying not to bunch up. The specialist stays back, rope loose in his hands, waiting for the moment he's been promised. Someone mutters a slur under his breath. It doesn't echo. The path narrows. Trees press close. Roots break the ground at angles that trip men who don't know where to step. One stumbles and gets cursed for it. Another checks behind them and sees nothing but black. A shape moves to the left. Or maybe it doesn't. "Did you hear that?" someone whispers. No answer. They push forward anyway. That's how this always goes. Forward feels safer than stopping. Ahead, the clearing opens just enough to see the sky. Too open, too quiet. Then a sound hits from behind them. Close, deliberate. Every head turns. And the man in the back disappears. Nobody screams right away. Boots stop. Breathing stacks up. One man turns in a slow circle, flashlight shaking, beam cutting trees and finding nothing that makes sense. The woods feel tighter now, like they leaned in. But here's the thing, panic shows before action. "Where'd he go?" someone whispers. No answer. The specialist moves forward to check the ground, kneels, touches dirt still warm where a body was a second ago. He straightens too fast, breath catches, jaw tightens. A branch snaps to the right, too clean, too close. One of the men raises his gun and points it at shadows that don't move. Another backs up and hits a tree hard enough to bark it. He curses, loud, and the sound dies immediately. And that's the mistake noise gives position. Bumpy steps into view for half a second. Long enough to be seen, long enough to be counted, then he's gone again, swallowed by the trees. "Circle up," someone says. They try. The path they came in on doesn't look the same anymore. Roots sit higher. Brush closes gaps. One man turns and finds his way blocked by something that wasn't there before. The specialist grips his rope and realizes there's no clear place to use it. From somewhere close, a voice speaks calm and even. "You don't belong here." No one knows which direction it came from. And that's when the first gunshot goes off wild, useless, and everything finally breaks. The gunshot echoes once and dies. Then, the woods explode. Bumpy moves fast and controlled, never staying in one place long enough to be found. He doesn't chase. He redirects. He pushes men into each other, into trees, into ground that won't hold them. One man runs and trips over a root that was cut shallow on purpose. He goes down hard and doesn't get back up. Another fires twice and hits nothing but bark. But here's the thing, numbers don't matter when space is owned. A flashlight beam swings and catches Bumpy for a breath. Calm face, razor in hand. Then the light goes out with a wet sound and a scream that cuts off halfway. Men collide, trying to back out the way they came. The path bottlenecks where it narrows, turning 7 into a knot of fear and shouting. Someone shoves, someone falls. Someone fires into the dark and hits one of their own. "Move! Move!" a voice yells. There's nowhere to move. Bumpy steps in close and fast, no wasted motion. He strikes, then vanishes again. Blood hits leaves. Hands come up too late. One man breaks free and runs blind, crashing through brush, breath tearing out of him. He doesn't look back. He doesn't stop until the trees thin and the road appears like a miracle. Behind him, the woods go quiet again. Bumpy doesn't follow. He stands still, listening to the aftermath settle, knowing exactly who was allowed to leave and why. And somewhere far off, a siren starts, uncertain, like it doesn't want to come any closer. 1:09 a.m. The siren fades before it ever reaches the tracks. A cruiser slows on the access road, headlights washing the trees once, then drifting away like it saw something it didn't want paperwork for. The engine hums, turns, gone. But here's the thing, silence like that is a decision. In the woods, bodies stay where they fell. Groans come soft now. One man crawls and stops. Another tries to stand and collapses back into the dirt. No one shouts for help anymore. They've learned it won't come. Near the path, the envelope lies open appearance, two mud smeared across Frank Lucas's clean money. Bills stick together. Useless. Bumpy steps around it without looking down. He checks the space once more. Counts breathing, counts stillness. He doesn't hurry. Thumb taps twice. Far down the road, the survivor stumbles into the light, hood gone, hands slick with blood. He keeps looking over his shoulder, waiting for something that doesn't follow. What he doesn't know yet, what keeps his legs moving, is that the woods behind him are finished with him. The question hanging in the trees isn't how many died. It's who's going to hear about it first. 2:03 a.m. A back office off Broadway. Frank Lucas doesn't look up right away. The man standing in the doorway sways. Face gray, breath broken. He smells like dirt and blood and something worse. He keeps his hands visible, like that might save him. "Talk," Frank says. The man nods too fast, reaches into his coat and pulls out the envelope appearance, 3 now soaked through, corners torn. He places it on the desk and slides it forward with shaking fingers. "There was 7, he says. "Then there wasn't." Frank opens it. No cash, just a folded strip of paper. He reads it once. Then again. Harlem doesn't forget who crosses it. Frank's jaw tightens. He looks up slowly. "Did he chase you?" The man shakes his head hard, almost crying. "No. He told me to leave." Frank leans back, stares at the ceiling. Long pause. "Get out," he says. The man doesn't wait to be told twice. When the door shuts, Frank stays seated. The message stays on the desk, untouched. And somewhere in Harlem, Bumpy Johnson is already walking home, leaving one last question behind him. If hate couldn't finish this, what exactly just started? By morning, the trees look ordinary again. No tape, no lights, no questions asked too loud. A report gets written thin and filed thinner. A supervisor signs it without reading past the first line. But here's the thing, Harlem notices patterns. The men who talked big don't talk anymore. Certain roads stop being used. Certain uniforms stop cruising past the tracks after dark. A laugh dies halfway out of a mouth and never tries again. Bumpy Johnson doesn't visit the woods. He doesn't need to. What happened there already moved. Quiet, complete. Some say the police asked for calm afterward, asked for everyone to let it go, asked because they knew what would happen if it didn't. Harlem let it go its own way. If you want more Bumpy Johnson stories like this, stories they never wrote down, hit subscribe. And in the comments, answer this. When the law looks away, who do you think is really in charge?